last night there were major primary elections across the country. And I want to start with an election that Trump just might have created his own nightmare in relation to. His pressure, his attacks against CBS, his censorship of the media, threatening outlets with his FCC, contributed to the CBS execs and legal team going to Stephen Colbert and going, we don't know if you should interview James Talarico. We're worried that they're going to use that for the equal time rule to come after us, despite that being something that you give talk shows like this an exemption on for decades. And that caused more people than ever before to be supportive of James Talarico, the candidate that the Trump world and Republicans least wanted. Here's James and I do take credit for the win. I do. No, I do. Because I said to him, I grabbed him like this by his face and I said, win this, JT, what I call him. And he said, Louie, I will. And it was never really the same after that. So much love to Jasmine Crockett as well. She's encouraged people to rally around this candidate. My excitement is not any glee that Crockett was defeated, but that it seems that there's something special happening in Texas with the turnout. So people voting for Crockett and Talarico, regardless, Democratic turnout was mind-blowing. Now, before we get to that, you can take that down, Jaden. Before we get to that, I do want to show you Joe Scarborough breaking down how Trump messing around with media outlets actually gave an extra spotlight that probably tipped the elections for Talarico, which reportedly behind the scenes is the candidate that Republicans in Texas are terrified to go up against.
Well, John, and I'm so glad that you brought up what happened with Colbert. Here's yet another example. I swear, I just wish these Republicans weren't so stupid. I wish they'd listen to me. I'm trying to help them out a little bit here just to make it a fair fight in the fall. But what did we say? What did we say, first of all, when they took Colbert off the air? You're going to pay for it. They did pay for it with South Park 3 or 4 days later, deciding they're going to lean in even harder, right? And so here they try to keep Talarico off the show. What happens? They give him a boost. If you talk to Jasmine Crockett, she'll say the same thing. I was ahead until that controversy. So the very person they were trying to defeat, the very person whose message scared them, is the very person who they helped win this race.
Just the quickest pause for the video amid all of this chaos. If you do appreciate these updates, please click the subscribe button, click the like button. Both of those are completely free, but subscribe is the most important to support what we do. Back to the video.
This just keeps happening over and over. They think they can game the system. They think that somehow they're going to be able to win. In the end, voters have the final say.
And there were so many elements to this that just was an epic shooting of one's foot. And that's Trump doing the Streisand effect, creating far more attention. And then that feeling of, wait, why is it obvious that they don't want Talarico? That's going to actually make a lot of Democratic voters more supportive of him. And with love to both the candidates, I think what we're seeing, especially because the turnout numbers I'm about to show you, is a real chance for Texas to go blue in this Senate race, which, if you're not familiar, would be pigs flying. That would be unbelievable. That would shift gravitationally, foundationally, systemically, seismically, tectonically the political makeup and power structure in the country. And Talarico is a really great candidate and has a message that I think is resonating with people across political lines. Again, because of me, because of my advice to him, is what a lot of the New York Times was calling me up and saying, how did you do this? You talked to him for 30 seconds and he won? Must have been you. And I'm just worried for whoever on the other end, Cornyn and Paxton, are going to a runoff, which means they're going to have to fight longer while Democrats unite. So they're going to have to continue, Paxton cheated and he had sex with a, animal. Not really, but there's all these scandals. And that's going to be happening while Democrats are uniting around Talarico. And this would, again, be an unbelievable shift in national politics if Texas went blue in this state. And then finally, I've been hoping for it. Beto calling all red. There were little moments where you thought maybe it could happen. But every time we came up short. And Texas, I know, I live here. Or I'm not here now, but I do live there in Texas. And for so long, I would say, liberals are ascendant here. And someone would say, hey, brother, I don't think you're from around here. And I'd say, I am. I was born here, ugh. And they would go, check the scoreboard, brother. And I just need to look at one of those guys. I want to go fishing. I'm going to go fishing with one. I have the guy in my head. And I'm going to crack open a brew. And I'm going to say, I love you. But check the scoreboard, bitch. If we can win this, I'd be crying just for a day. Enjoy. And the power of Texas is pretty darn significant. Look at this voter turnout. And then we'll talk about some other primaries.
I would say the word to describe it for Democrats, tremendous turnout. I mean, woof. Texas Democratic Senate primary turnout, the highest ever was this primary. We're already up to 2.3 million, and that's only with 92% of the estimated voting. That will climb ever higher. The 2000s average was less than 1 million. They've more than doubled the average turnout for Texas Senate Democratic primaries. The Democrats came out and voted. This beats the old record, which was...
What is this called? There's a technical term for when this happens. Is it democracy maxing? No, democracy mogging. That's what's happening here. Okay, Jaden, that's what's happening here. It's not a joke. You think it's funny? It's not a joke. This is real. This is energy.
2.2 million, and that was in a presidential primary year between Obama and Clinton, and this beat it. Democrats really enthusiastic. As I said, the word to describe this is tremendous.
I can't even believe it beat 2008.
As a side note, whenever I walk into a room with some nice crocodile, I don't even know if this is snake skin boots, this is the noise that people say in Texas to me.
Texas.
Wait, no, I messed it up. This is it.
Tremendous turnout. I mean,
this is it. I walk in and I go, and you hear, and I walk in and I push open the doors and I go, this is my state, MFers too. And then this is their reaction.
Woof!
That's their reaction. And I go, woof indeed. And put your collar on because I'm going to dog walk you. Or something. So that's exciting, record breaking. I think there's a lot of energy in Texas, which is indicative of the national energy. We can't talk about every race that happened last night, but let's touch on some notable ones. Republican Dan Crenshaw, who's a big Trump guy, but for some reason, and I can't even remember when this started, but he collapsed in favorability among the MAGA base, even though he completely supports and votes with Trump and defends what Trump is doing. And right now he's rah about the war. And he, for some reason, was chewed up and spit out by the MAGA base, and he lost his primary in a pretty crazy upset. CBS reporting Republican Representative Dan Crenshaw has lost the GOP primary race in Texas' 2nd congressional district to Texas State Representative Steve Doth. And listen, I'm sure that Steve doth bad. I'm sure he is, okay? I'm not even saying this is an upgrade. But what's notable is that tonight I'll be debating Dan Crenshaw. What is happening? That's just the facts. And I feel I really hope this doesn't go poorly after what I'm about to say. I feel bad for him. I do. I respect the hell out of his service, genuinely. Like, really appreciate. He is a Navy SEAL, incredible bravery and courage, and that training did not prepare him for me. Okay? So how's the connection, Jaden? Good so far? Everything good? All right. I can't believe we're doing this in this hotel. It's very exciting. Yeah, I don't think he's prepared. No, I'm kidding. I'm just going to be my same little goofy self. Who knows? Crenshaw, who has served in the House since 2019, is the only sitting House Republican in Texas who did not receive President Trump's endorsement. I think his downfall all started I don't have the videos, but with those campaign ads he'd make, and it would be like, it would be themed as some sort of action thriller, and he'd be like getting in a plane and then skydiving, and then he'd be like, we have to go do this operation, winning Georgia, and then he'd be like, we got good patriots, now we're going, like creating this action where he's like James Bond, but for supporting Loeffler. That's kind of it's like, oh, there's a new action film out. Oh, interesting. Oh, starring Dan Crenshaw. Oh, fascinating. What's like the goal of this James Bond type figure? Oh, Kelly Loeffler winning? That's kind of a weird climax, but okay. So we will be debating about the Iran war mostly tonight, and that should be fascinating. I'll obviously cover that once it happens. That's why I'm in Nashville, and also Michael Knowles, but obviously we know who the two alphas are who are going to be going at each other all night long, and it ain't Michael Knowles. Okay, so let's just put that... I'm in a goofy mood right now. We got in late last night. I'm a little bit delirious. It's the best type of shows. Then do you remember this candidate, Valentina Gomez, who's an insane extremist and would post campaign, Jaden, you can show us, would post campaign ads like this?
Your daughters will be raped and your sons beheaded unless we...
So what she's about to say is heinous. And that's quite a hook, okay? Starting with your sons will be beheaded and your daughters raped. You're like, what? Well, now I have to listen. But then you hear her message and you're like, oh, disgusting. Oh, shoot. Sorry, here we go.
Your daughters will be raped and your sons beheaded unless we stop Islam once and for all. We're done turning the other cheek. Remember, David didn't pray for Goliath.
So that's pretty gross. And then you have this.
It's that simple. Public execution. It's that simple. Public executions for any illegal that rapes or kills an American. They don't deserve deportation. They deserve to be ended.
So anyways, she kind of thought she was tough, you know, a tough guy, but girl, tough gal, and a badass. And she lost and only received 10% of the vote. Oof. Or woof, as Harry Enton would put it. And maybe, well, I guess just we're talking about Texas. This was Texas's 31st congressional district. Did I get my facts all distorted saying nationally? We definitely got Texas primary updates. That's what obviously I'm going through here. She lost. That's good news in her primary, but if you were to believe her, it was stolen. It's just one playbook. Gomez says, I have video evidence that my election has been rigged to benefit 84-year-old Congressman John Carter. I put extra ballots in my name. If I publish this video, they will send me to prison because it involves the voting machines. So there it goes again. She's claiming that her election was rigged. Shocker. Absolute shocker.